would run.
Great. Great.
Now, how can government make that happen? Today, we need to go beyond wish list in Africa. And when government take the lead, they focus so much on policy. We are not talking about frameworks and policies now. We are talking about a workable implementation model that would work in Africa. I would quote, without putting the context, the current Honorable Minister of Digital Economy, and he said in one of the forum just a couple of months ago that, the ministry have tried, and indeed they have, so many things to solve so many problems, but some of our problems in Africa are so difficult to solve that they are stubborn problems. I agree with him that some of those problems are entrenched, but those problems are entrenched because we are using the wrong implementation model. If we use the right model with the right resources and position it correctly, government can make changes and wonders happen. Government control a lot of the narrative, the resources. You can see what Nigerian government is doing with tax reforms and the progress they are making. If the presidents or the government focus on a transformative technology reform in a similar manner that truly would position Nigeria, and by inference Africa, to getting some of these things done. Yeah. So, for example, declare several territories for data center infrastructural investment. Yeah. And those territories, yes, they are in Nigerian territorial land, give guarantees, global guarantees. I know free trade zone would come to mind, but we need to do better than free trade zone. Those locations have to have guarantees that a government tomorrow, in fact, it's almost as if seeding it out permanently for a long time, so that they are no longer considered as part of the territorial part of that country, so that foreigners would then see, okay, so if I invest in this place, I can have the same global rules that apply in this location, and Nigerian government will not come and take it away, just because it is part of Nigerian territory. We need to come up with something close to that as much as possible that doesn't completely give away our sovereignty in order to accelerate infrastructure rollout. If we don't fix the infrastructure, believe me, we would still have to rely on the foreign entities to provide that critical component, and we would only be taking advantage of the super value that sits on top. And with what the still ongoing, trade wars has demonstrated, that at the right time, with the right incentives, can still be used against countries and threaten the sovereignties of countries in future. Thank you.
Please, I'd like us to give him a round of applause. Please, a very, very concrete round of applause. So that basically what he has just done. He has taken everything that I've been saying since yesterday, today, and has put it together and has told us. For me, what I hear clearly, I don't know about you, I hear until our infrastructural development is on the rise, we would still keep on talking about these foundational issues. All right, guys, one more round of applause for him while we take some photos. If you have any questions, I would like you to just note it down, and then I'll respond to you on the social platforms. Okay, a gentle reminder about the two books by Dr. Evans. If you can go to the back, you can get them. But before we go real quick, all through since the beginning of the conference, I've been taking notes, and there's something I noted down as a closing reflection for us to all go home with. I'll start with saying Africa's future in artificial intelligence isn't really about us catching up anymore. It's about catching on to our own power as Africans. Sovereign intelligence means building technology that reflects exactly who we are, our voices, our value, our systems, our vision. Because the real question isn't about can Africa build AI? Really, that's not the question. The question is, can AI totally understand Africa? When we own our own data, our code, our stories, we no longer ask for inclusion, but we define the conversation. Thank you, and let's keep pushing for an Africa that leads with intelligence, sovereign, smart, and an Africa that is unstoppable. Thank you for coming to this conference. I wish you all well as you go home. So I'd like us to have a final closing remark from our chairman, Digital Africa. Sir, please, I would like you to just send us home the right way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I thank you all for your staying power. You know, as they say, many are called, but a few are chosen. For you that have decided to stay, to come, and then to stay this long, thank you very much. And I hope we spoke to you. I hope you learned a lot, especially the young ones, you know, amongst us here today. I hope we learned a lot, you know, from all this. But then again, you see, a lot of times me, lately, well, for a long time, when I think about the problems of Africa, I tend to believe that, oh my God, this thing, we've left it too late. The height we have to reach, you know, in order to be able to catch up is just too high and unbelievable. And therefore, I get to sometimes feel that it's not achievable. But then sometimes again, when I come to this kind of events, and I see especially the youths of Africa, the kind of questions you were asking shows that you really want us, you know, to really reduce the gap between us and the rest of the world. Shows that you've already begun to understand a lot of what we're talking about. Shows that a lot of you have also started doing things, even in this space. And this, to me, is heart, you know, warming. Now, I totally agree with, you know, Bosu. The problem, you know, for us to really catch up, and believe you me, it is doable. And there's no way we can do so without our governments in Africa at the individual country levels and also at the AU level playing a major role for that to really, you know, happen. We've seen it, as Bosun pointed out, in what happened in China and what happened in Singapore, what happened in South Korea, even though in the case of South Korea, it was really the chaebols, some group of companies, but those group of companies were created by the government intentionally. And that was how it also, you know, happened there. If we want to, here in Africa, we can change the situation almost overnight. Our people are ready. From the level of participation, you know, here, and from much of what we see, even outside of this place, you can see that our people are ready to create the miracle, even here in Africa. And we owe it to ourselves and to our generations unborn for us to do this. As, you know, Bosu also pointed out, if our government decides to pay attention and focus on any area, let's say, you know, infrastructure, it is going to change overnight. If we really, truly want development, because often I believe that we are not paying attention to development. We're just, you know, getting along with whatever we do every day, not mindful of where we are as Africa vis-a-vis other parts of the world. But to me, we need to be mindful of the gap between us and the rest of the world. We started, as I pointed out, yesterday, Africa started it all. It was here that humanity was born. It was here that most of the innovations, the earliest innovations, were carried out. And our ancient Africans didn't disappoint us, as I pointed out yesterday. If you go to much of what they did in different parts of Africa, ancient Africa, you know that we did so much. So why should we, modern Africans, disappoint the future generation of Africans? If somebody is given the role of a leader, that person should really, know that it's a great responsibility we are given to that person so that the person can assist us for us to leapfrog this development. It is doable, and we must, do it. Earlier today, somebody spoke in a manner that touched me. The gentleman sat somewhere there, and he was saying something about the nature of the gap between us and the rest of the world. And the fact that, bottom line, all we are doing is just imitating what, others are doing without really taking the bull by, the horn. To an extent, he's right. I pointed out that even, is something that we've been doing for a long time now, since, let's say, the 60s. To the point that somebody wrote a book. I talked about him yesterday. His name is V.S. Naipaul, a Nobel laureate from Trinidad and Tobago. He wrote a book called The Mimic Man, which describes us as, although he wasn't talking only about Africa, he was talking about probably the whole third world, the whole of the West Indies, and of course, of Africa. Bottom line, all we are good at is just imitation. We are not authentic. We don't do things, take things, for us to be leaders, to catapult the world even to newer, phases of existence. We are comfortable. We are resigned to just staying there and mimicking what some